GM, welcome to MET-AMS in Amsterdam. I'm here with Leap. Leap, how you doing?
Good, good. It is great to be here.
How are you enjoying Amsterdam so far?
It's cold, it's rainy, but it's great.
There's a level red storm currently in town.
I've heard
Yeah.
we got something coming through.
Well, welcome to Europe. Leap, I am hosting like a number of conversations here where I want to talk about what it means to be a content creator. I would love like a little bit of an introduction to you and perhaps like what inspired you to get into content creation in the first place.
Absolutely. So why did I want to get into content? Honestly, it was never even like a mindset of I want to like go be a creator or anything like that. I actually never wanted to be a creator. Uh, Even just like people saying, "Oh, creator is a weird thing to hear." I just genuinely like talking about crypto and NFTs,
Right.
and especially where I was from, like Southern Virginia, there's nobody there talking about, monkey JPEGs,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So, Twitter Spaces, I mean, that's what or X Spaces now,
Yeah.
that's really what it became. That was the spot the conversations were, so I just stuck
Okay.
around.
Tell me how then, from the moment you kind of opened your first spaces and invited people to come and chat with you, and now you host some of the busiest spaces on X, like what has the evolution been like? What have you done to grow that audience? And what do you believe in terms of like the content to create that really does appeal to spaces like within our space?
Mm, what appeals to the masses. So, I mean, like, at the end of the day, the way I look at it is, it's like what I was saying earlier, they want access to information, they want authenticity, and they want a place that they can feel at home. And in a industry that's so turbulent, and there's so much stuff going on, there are very few spots that you can just relax and just listen to perspectives of people that you may not have access to typically. So for me, I think that's really important.
Yeah. Um, I'm really because you've been prolific in terms of like the number of spaces you've hosted, the duration of your spaces. Like, how do you stay motivated to continue creating content in like the manner that you do when it is so time consuming? And I imagine to some like whilst people might think you're just sat behind a phone talking, like it's exhausting. It's a real like labor intensive
It is, yeah.
process? Like, how do you stay motivated?
It's so you're right. Okay. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like physical labor, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not like
we know that.
it's not like I'm doing construction, but it is very tiring. And you know, there are many times where I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what am I doing? Like this is so much work, and like, is it worth it? All this stuff. But I always, and I'll just say this here. A lot of times, I sometimes like don't even want to open the space because it's just like you're going to be on the conversation for 5 6 hours. But the moment the space starts,
Yeah,
it's all those worries go away,
yeah.
and it's unbelievably fun. It's such a privilege to do. So how I stay motivated is we have the best community. I
Okay.
mean, we have an unbelievable community that supports everything that we do, and I just love talking to them. It's the people. It's really it's all the especially just NFTs in general. It's about the people, and
Yeah.
I'm so lucky to have the people we have.
So we spoke on a panel together earlier, and I remember you saying how like you think of yourselves self as like a facilitator, right, of great conversations, bringing people in around the space who are building amazing things, making great conversations, educating the audience, hopefully entertaining them as you go. What things happening in the space right now are exciting you the most? Or which other creators are creating content where you're like, holy shit, like that is going to blow up? Like, what's really getting you going?
I mean, so I look at content, especially in our space, as a sport, and like how well can we perform, and it's competitive.
Yeah.
And like speaking of other creators like Thread Guy and Pay Money, like these guys are at the top of their game,
Yeah.
just incredibly talented. And as they continue to create more content, I want to create more content. Um, so in terms of what I'm excited about, is just more creators coming in. And
Okay.
shout out to Rug Radio because they're facilitating creators like me to come out to these events and participate and speak and create content. That is what we need. There's a lot of people that are focused specifically on the tech, and that's super important.
Yeah.
But we need people. You can have the best tech in the world, but if there aren't people there, then nobody's going to use it. So companies like Rug Radio are so important for that reason. So yeah, just that.
I love it. And like you speak there about Thread Guy. Thread Guy starts by hosting spaces in his really kind of like his style. Like he's so unique.
Mhm.
And then a few months later, I say a few months, several months later of hard work, he's interviewing the Williams Formula One team. Like that's an incredible progression.
It's amazing.
How are you focusing on like adapting the way you approach your interview style, the way that you set your spaces up so that you can kind of like continue to transcend the space as it stands and level up?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part. Like the nature of our content is very much like it is an open coffee shop essentially, or an Xbox Live lobby where anybody just jumps in. And a lot of times, as you know, it gets very hectic and sometimes not the most structured. So I do want to move in a direction where it is a little bit more curated, structured, and bring like do a lot more one-on-ones.
Yeah.
But it is difficult. Um, so I think like Thread Guys like very focused on like transcending, like you said.
Yeah.
For me, I just it's hard for me to think about creating content that isn't like crypto NFT related.
Okay.
So I just like doubling, tripling down on the niche.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe that ends up being a mistake, who knows? But I've always done things that I enjoy and I'm just gonna continue
I
doing
mean,
that.
that's what makes it so authentic, right?
Yeah.
So what are your plans for the next couple of days? You in town for long?
So I think I'm here to the 5th. Obviously we're checking out Breakpoint, all these different things, all
Yeah.
the different NFT events. So today we have a bunch that we have to go to.
Yep.
And so just that and trying to get some good food. I've not found I had some sushi. It was less than authentic, but yeah, just hanging out, going to the events,
I love it.
enjoying
Okay.
it.
I've one final question
Yeah.
that I'm asking everybody at
Okay.
the end of these interviews, and that is we're here because of a love of crypto, Web3, NFTs. Which NFT will you never part with?
My PFP,
Your potato.
my D Rage. Shout out to Dark Farm as the artist. Yeah, just never. I mean, you could offer me. You can offer me $10 million right now, and I would not sell it.
Genuine.
I genuinely. Well, also, I would use it as a marketing thing.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
oh, someone offered it 10 million, and he
Yeah.
said no.
Okay.
I'll burn it before
It's
one of
you, right?
It's one of those things that it's, dude, it's like a part. It's an asset that means so much to me, and it's been my identity for so long.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day I'm blessed enough to have a family and kids and just like that, and I would love to pass it down to my kids. Like, I feel
Amazing.
like that's a part of me.
Leap, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Have a great stay
Thank you,
in
thank you.
Amsterdam, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank
Cheers.
you.